Hey guys, welcome to DevOps School. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about Rancher.
But before we begin, let me inform you few things about us. DevOps School is one of the leading platforms which offers DevOps, cloud and containers technology training and certification programs for freshers and established professionals who wish to update and consolidate their skills in the dynamic IT scenario. We ensure that the training solutions are delivered by highly experienced domain experts with practical working experience in various verticals. Check out the dates and enroll with us for our upcoming batches. For more info, link and contact details are mentioned in the description below.
Now, today after understanding about the Rancher UI, we'll have to deploy the clusters. That's in real. Now, which are the ways in which we can deploy the clusters here with Rancher? So yes, we can do Amazon EKS, Azure EKS, Google GK. In fact, EC2 clusters also you can add existing clusters also you can do that with Azure or EC2, DigitalOcean, Linode, VMware, vSphere, and stuff like that. So yeah, Rancher simplifies deploying Kubernetes clusters by allowing you to create them via Rancher. Now, Rancher provides multiple options for deploying a new Kubernetes clusters. One of them is like Rancher can deploy a managed Kubernetes cloud in cloud provider like EKS, GLE, and AKS. So today I'll try this EKS. All of this we cannot try because it's a very costly creation process. So we will try today EKS. Now Rancher can deploy RKE. RKE is the one of the version of Kubernetes which is supported by Rancher. So Rancher Kubernetes engine. So Rancher can deploy RKE Kubernetes cluster on your own nodes also. And let's say you have a few nodes which can be you can get it from anywhere. So that also it's can deploy. By the way, the Rancher should be able to access those machines. So Rancher can deploy on bare metal servers also, cloud providers and VM. Rancher can deploy Kubernetes on existing custom nodes being on bare metal server, clouds provider or virtualization. So all options are given. Now, what are the capabilities you will have with Rancher? So what are the things you can do that? So look at it here. So if you see that if you manage the Rancher for the managing the Kubernetes clusters, compared to if you use, let's say, EKS, GKE, AKS cluster, compared to hosted Kubernetes cluster or compared to non-EKS or GKE registered cluster. So what you can do that. So here in this table, options for setting available for cluster type in Rancher. So you can use using kubectl or kubeconfig file to access the cluster that you can do that. In Rancher, that functionality is available. Managing cluster members, you can do that Rancher. Editing and upgrading clusters in Rancher, you can do that. Managing nodes, you can do that. PVs and PVCs and SCs and all, storage class and all managing, you can do that. You can manage the project namespace and workload, which we have done in the last class, that you can do that. App catalog, configuring tools, alert notifiers, monitoring and stuff like that, observability and all stuff like that, you can do that. Security scans, yes, it's possible in Rancher. Use existing configurations to create additional cluster, possible with Rancher. But if you see that non-EKS and or GK register cluster, that's not possible. Ability to rotate certificates, that's possible in Rancher, EKS, GK, AKS, but not other hosted Kubernetes cluster. Mind it here. Here, ability to backup and restore Rancher launched cluster, which is there, and cleaning Kubernetes components when a clusters are no longer reachable from Rancher, that's possible, and configuring the pod security. So yes, these are the things which you can see. These are the capabilities you can see in the Rancher. So registering existing Kubernetes cluster in Rancher. So let's say if you have a Rancher, if you have a Kubernetes cluster, and you can also add existing clusters to Rancher for management. EKS cluster created or registered in Rancher are treated the same way in Rancher, except when deleting. When EKS cluster is deleted from Rancher, that was a register registered and it is disconnected from Rancher. But when a EKS cluster deleted from Rancher, that was created via Rancher, it is destroyed on AWS. So yes, that's a very easy way to do that. In Rancher, here you can have a cluster templates also. So cluster templates encompasses both Kubernetes configuration and node pool configuration, allowing a single template to contain all the information Rancher needs to be provisioned with a new node in a cloud provider or installing Kubernetes on those nodes. That is, you can do that. You can also create a clusters template can use for any Kubernetes distributions. You can use a cluster templates are available as Helm chart that you will need to clone, fork, and then change them according to your needs. Finally, installing them on your Rancher management cluster. This cluster template I would like to show you here. So you will get comfortable. So if you go to here and cluster management and see here, advanced tab. Sure. Here. So see here, these are the templates which you can see. Cluster template, node template, RKE template. So here you can add a more node template or more RKE template. So this here you can design all the stuff like that. So yeah. So here clustered second point which I was trying to tell you, cluster template can use any Kubernetes distribution. Cluster templates are available as Helm chart that you'll need to clone, fork, and then change them according to your needs, finally installing them on a Rancher management cluster. Rancher does not have version control for cluster template. So any version control for the cluster template need to be done in repository hosting the template. When the Helm chart is installed on the Rancher management cluster, Rancher cluster resource is created, which Rancher uses to provision a new cluster. And after the cluster is provisioned using a template, no changes to the template will affect the cluster, mind you. So yeah, so the cluster templates are robust and can be used to configure the following option. For example, node configuration, just now I showed you, node pool, pre-specified cloud credentials, enable and configure an authorized cluster. Can you hear me, all of you?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you can use for the enabling and configure an authorized clustered endpoint to get kubectl access to the cluster without using Rancher as a proxy. Install Rancher V2 monitoring. You can do that Kubernetes versioning, also define that. You can define the assigned Kubernetes members also. You can also do that some of the infrastructure configurations such as AWS VPC subnet, vSphere configuration. You can also define that cloud provider options. You can define the port security. You can define the network providers. You can define the ingress controller. You can define the network security configuration. You can define the network plugins. You can define the private registry URL and credentials and many more. So these are the things which you can define in the cluster template. Okay, so now here you see that managing Rancher cluster template, Rancher example templates are in the Rancher GitHub repository. So here, if you go and check this, this is one of the template example of template, by the way. You can go and check that. And so this is a chart actually, Helm chart. So just follow this is a Helm chart code. And here this is charts, templates, values of AWS, Azure, and all stuff like that you have it. So this is one of the Rancher template. As an example, you can check it out and use in your program. Okay, so yeah, so what you can do, adding a cluster template to Rancher. So what you can do, how can you add it? So fork the registry repository, the one which I showed you. After that, add the chart repository to Rancher. Click cluster management. There you go and local. Click on go to the local cluster and click explore. So, and then after that, in the left navigation bar, click apps and marketplace chart repository, then click create, enter the name of the cluster template repository, click git repository containing Helm chart definitions. In the git repo field, enter the URL address, the one which you have, and after that you can create. So let me show you here this step. So you should go to first, this is my cluster, and after that you go to the manage cluster management, and here you should go to the local one, local clusters which you have here. And in the local clusters, just a second, I clicked on wrong. Just go to the home, local, here it is. Now inside that, here app and marketplace. So here app and marketplace, and here you have to go and create a charts. So click on this plus button, and now you look for the option which is let me read this, chart repository, and enter the name of the cluster template repository. So chart here. Now here you have to click on the create. Okay, now here let's say Kubernetes template I'm creating. Now here you can specify what is the Helm chart location. So I have a Helm chart location, that is this one. Okay, so you can specify the URL here and create it. Okay, so here there's some problem which has happened. It says parsing response and also like that. So what could be the run? So I will go and edit this, the URL of it, and instead of that one, this URL, I should give one more, this URL. So I think this URL will be easier. Just let me get it confirmations, and Rancher cluster template examples. That is correct actually. So and I think this URL I'm going to use it and save it. Now here I see that failed to parse response from this. So what could be the reason for it? So should I fork it out? Let me just check if I miss some steps. Click create, enter the name of the tab, click containing Helm chart definition. Okay, so maybe let me edit one more time. This is Raj1, and I think I should have selected this one. Okay, so that's the problem. And here it is, master branch. I'll just check that which branch I'm having. See here, there's a main branch, so I should be little careful. And authentication none, should be okay now. Okay, so here Raj1 got created, and a at temp I will delete this. So that's all. And after that, yes, we'll move on to next topic. So here, after that, what you need to do is yeah, so in the git branch field, I did this and created. So this is a template creation process. So first thing what you have to do, if you want to create a cluster template, yes, you need to have a Helm chart. That's the easiest way, and then follow the steps and you will be able to do that. Now after that, you have to go to the cluster management. So, and then on the cluster page, create and click the name of the cluster from the template and finish installing the Helm chart. So what you to do after that, you should go to the cluster management, here cluster, click on the create, and here see that this is the one cluster template which I created. And after that, you fill all this form what you want, and here which kind of you want. So here you want DigitalOcean or Azure or vSphere, all this thing, and which version of Kubernetes you want, all this thing, and click install. So I'm not running here right now because I'll show you in a different way. how can you get it done? So yes, you can create the cluster from the template also and get it done. Are you able to understand that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can
So this is
you
the
connect to Azure?
hello.
Can
Yeah,
you
tell me.
create a template in Azure?
So is you this template you have for these cloud platform. Let me show you. Sorry, this one. It can go for EC2, DigitalOcean, Azure, vSphere, Harvester, and custom. So you can use this one. Okay. Okay. So now this is the things. Now managing the Kubernetes with Rancher. So after deploying through the cluster, you can manage this. So what are the tools which we have available? By the way, I have not deployed that any cluster so far for in front of you. So I'll do that in case that will be easier for us. Little cost involved in it, but it'll be more or less automated. Okay, so now, yes, so which tool you can use it? So we have discussed this one also. You can use Rancher kubectl cell. You can use UI also, Rancher UI. You can use Rancher command line and you can use Rancher API. Most of the time we can use for kubectl and Rancher UI. That's more popular options. And both of the options have been showing you, so you can get that. Now, how do you scale that cluster? That's called cluster autoscaler. So there are pods that failed to run in the cluster due to insufficient resources. So there are nodes in the cluster that have been underutilized also for an extended period of time, and their ports can be placed on other existing nodes. So that you can do that. The cluster autoscaler automatically adjusts the size of the cluster cares cluster when one of the following conditions are the conditions are cluster autoscaler is designed to run on Kubernetes control plane nodes and can run in the kube system namespace. Now, currently, the AWS Cluster Autoscaler, AWS EC2 Auto Scaling Group is the only one that works with Rancher. So, yes, this is the auto scaling group which you can use for time. While upgrading the clusters in Kubernetes, in Rancher, Kubernetes clusters and rolling back, what are the things we need to consider? So, yes, following an upgrade, the latest version of Rancher downstream the Kubernetes cluster can be upgraded to use the latest supported version of Kubernetes. Rancher calls RKE as a library when providing and reading RKE clusters. Available only for Rancher launched RKE Kubernetes cluster and registered Kubernetes cluster. K3's Kubernetes cluster. Okay, some in terms of pod security, where do you find out this pod security? So if you go to clusters, which is here, and go to cluster management, click on any cluster, for example, local, and here you see port security policies. So here you can define all the port security policies here, and that is what we are discussing right now. So, yep. So port security policies are objects that control security sensitive aspects of port specification like root privileges. Port security policy is a set of rules that monitor the condition and setting in a pod. If a pod does not meet the rules specified in your policy, the policy stops it from the running, and Rancher will display an error message of the pod name is forbidden and able to validate. Now, pod security can assign a pod security policy when Kubernetes cluster is deployed. So this also you can do that. So if you look at this my screen here, I have a few port policy restricted no root, unrestricted, but you can assign these pod policies. You can create a new policies also, and here you can define what kind of policies you want for the pod. So basic policies are here, capabilities policies are here, volume policies are here, and it's a pretty long list. So again, if you want to get into the security part, you have to go and read each and everything options, and it'll help you. SE Linux policies are here, supplemental group policies. All these you have here. Okay, now so that's a spot security policy. Now, how pod security policy works. That is the thing. So here exceptions, namespaces that are not assigned to project do not inherit PSP. That's a exceptions for the PSP, pod security policies. So pod security policies, you can assign PSP at the clustered or project level. PSPs work through inheritance. By default, PSP assigned to a cluster are inherited by its project as well as namespace added to those projects. You can override the default PSP by assigning a different PSP directly to the project. So that's, you please remember, any workload that are already running in a cluster or project before PSP assigned will not be checked if it's compiled with a PSP. Okay, now Rancher ships with the two default policies, security policy, PSPs, that is restricted and unrestricted. This is the what I showed you. You can use this one. So go to the here, restricted and unrestricted. Okay, so what it can do, so you can understand. Under the restricted, significantly restrict what types of pod can be deployed to Kubernetes cluster or project. Again, restricted, prevent pod from running as a privileged user and prevents escalations of privileged. And also restricted also helps you to validate that server required security mechanisms are in place, such as restricting what volumes can be mounted to only the core volume types and preventing root supplemental groups from being added. Unrestricted group PSP policies. This policy is equivalent to running Kubernetes with the PSP controller disabled, having a no restrictions on what pods can be deployed into the cluster or projects. So this is one. Now, how do you configure the cluster? So Rancher cluster. So after a Kubernetes cluster which is hosted by Rancher. So after you provision a Kubernetes cluster using Rancher, you can still edit option for setting for cluster configurations, RKE, RKE2, K3S, EKS you can modify, JKE you can modify, AKS also you can modify. So yes, this cluster configuration option depend on the type of Kubernetes clusters. Okay, now here nodes and nodes pool. Yeah, so here you can see that after launching a Kubernetes cluster in Rancher, you can manage individual node from the Kubernetes from the cluster node tab also. So here let me show you this. This is, so go to the cluster and local, and here you see cluster nodes here. So all these things you can manage from here also, and download and stuff like that, delete. These are the things you can do that. You can active, deactive, all these things you can make it happen, and that is pretty much possible through Rancher itself. So here if you see that, yes, so cordon you can do that through Rancher. Drain you can do that, edit. You can view the API, delete, download keys, and node scaling. You can do that. Okay, how do you deploy the persistent storage in a cluster? So when deploying an application that need to retain data, you will need to create persistent storage. Persistent storage allow you to store application data external from the pod running your applications. In Rancher, you can use existing storage or dynamically provision new storage or add a persistent volume that refer to the persistent storage from the cluster management. So here, if you can go and check that, here you have all these options, PVCs and all. Here you have nodes, workload, and here stateful set, jobs and all. These are all workloads, and storage you have, see here. So here you can add a PV, storage class, config map, PVC, all this you can add it, secrets through the Rancher also. So that is possible through that. Now there is one services which you have to you need to know about that, and that's called how do we get the block storage in Rancher, and that service is basically Longhorn. Okay, so Longhorn is a lightweight distributed block storage system for Kubernetes that can be used for and can be used for persistent storage. Longhorn is an open source software that was originally developed by Rancher, left but now a sandbox project of the CNC. So it's another product again you can use for the persistent storage, block storage technology. Now, how do we take up a backup of the cluster? So Rancher has ability to backup and restore the etcd for Rancher launched Kubernetes cluster. Snapshot of the etcd database are taken and saved either locally on the etcd node or to S3 compatible target. How do we set the monitoring for the Rancher pre-built Kubernetes cluster? So Rancher can integrate with the Elasticsearch, Splunk, Kafka, Syslog, and Fluentd. How do you see that all this stuff? So let me show you here in the app and marketplace. Okay, here you see the service discovery. You have all this stuff in terms of DNS. But if you go to the marketplace, or here you see, look at this under the more resources. Here storage you have, RBAC you have, networking policy you have, discovery you have, fleet you have, and many applications which you can use it. Here apps and marketplace also you can go for that. So let's say Longhorn is here, which will create a block storage. Prometheus is here, you can install it. Backup already we installed last session itself, and all this thing you can do that. Private registry artifact you can create it. Citrix and ingress controller and all you can use it. So there are so many apps which is available which we can use it. So for the logging, you can install this Elasticsearch, Splunk, Kafka, Syslog, and Fluentd. For the monitoring and alerting, you can integrate with the Prometheus. You can integrate with Chaos component and software deployment. Okay, so this is uh, the discussion which we have now. The time has come when we should deploy the clusters in Rancher. Any questions so far?
Can you do demo
Yeah.
for on topic?
For
Can you demo on topic we just
yes,
discussed?
I'm going to show you the demo now. Yeah. So first thing, I'm going to deploy the cluster. Remember, that's the main work which you have in Kubernetes, in Rancher, deploying the Kubernetes cluster. So how do you do that? So click here, create. Now here I have a template. I can create a cluster from template also, but today in this session, I will do this Amazon EKS. Why? Because I have an account of Amazon EKS, and also on top of that, I have some uh, active accounts. EKS and all, GK and all, I don't have active accounts, so I can use it. Now, before that, I should also create a credentials. So where do you store the credentials? If you see that here, cloud credentials, you're going to store the cloud credentials here. So can I first create the cloud credentials? So what I'm going to do is, I'll log into my cloud, and here I will upload the credentials. Now here I'm going to create access keys, and here I'm creating a key. I created a key. Now I'm going to update it. So this is the demo for what? So I'm going to upload for AWS. Now this is for me, so it's a demo. This is the key, and this is the secret, key ID and secret. Now this region I'm selecting US West 2, that's Oregon actually, and create it. So this is the simple things I could get it, this credentials. Remember, it's a demo. Okay. After that, if you go and set all this other stuff also, like the drivers, which is already active. For me, it's active. Let's say if you want to go for Alibaba and all, is inactive. So you can activate also, but right now not need, because anyways we'll create on EKS. You can also create a pod security policies. You have a restricted and unrestricted. You can use it for time being, and you can create your own also. Right now, move on to the clusters, and now I'm creating the clusters here. Now here, either you create a cluster from template, which I'm not doing because it's just for the demo. Now I'm creating from the EKS. Click on it. by the way, you should go back and check that you can create a clusters, many other also. So AKS, GK, and all the options you have. So I'll select the EKS. Now here you are going to name it. So this is the Rajesh EKS cluster name. I'm going to name this cluster name Rajesh. And here, if you want to define some roles, this role is of the AWS, mind it. So if you want to define some rules, you can do that. But right now I'll go with the default rule because I don't want you to get lost in the AWS topic. Rule is basically to granting access to all the resources like a nodes and all with each other. So that is the things. So right now I'm okay with this default role, okay, which will help me to get the role of cluster owner. Now, if you really want to understand what is a cluster owner, you should go to AWS. And after that, here go to the IAM, okay. And here, and look for the policies. And there you can check this, what is a cluster owner means. So here you have a policies and you can search for cluster owner, okay. So this access you have it, and then you will have to create one rules out of it. Owner one rollouts out of it so that you can customly create it and get it done. So here I'm not getting anything as such. So let me see that if I have a role owner. All right, now it's not coming. So uh, so it will create actually. So yeah, from here it will create. So let's go with this role which will be created. And if you want to labels and annotations, that's okay. If you want to set some access, specific access, then you can set it up here. Right now, I want to set a ES access, and that is here. Now, this is the region, West 2, and what is this cloud credentials? So this cloud credentials basically keys. So let me do one thing. Let me go to EC2, and I am in US West 2, that's region, and I'll create one key for the my cluster. So where do we create it? Here it is. So I'm creating a key here. This is a demo or Raju. I'll just name it Raju, and this key will be PM5 and create it. Now remember my key is Raju. So I created, so I have to refresh it one more time. And again, I have to select all these options. Okay, again, because I did not create a before that. So demo, member rules, let it be as it is. Labels and annotations, account access. I should go and US West 2, correct? So US West 2 and Raju. So Raju has not come so far. One more refresh. So demo, why this is not coming? I'm just creating. This is just a refresh issues, and yes, US West 2. Cloud credentials. Okay, it's just I think it should come automatically, and demo and EKS is there, but here Raju Oregon EKS. Okay, let me create from here. Okay, let me create new and create new. Yeah. So I'm creating a, wait. I think, okay, sorry, my bad. So this credential, the one which is not the security key here, actually this is the one, EKS and demo. So I created a demo, if you remember last topic. So I have to select this one. I was thinking something else. Create this, EKS, demo is the name of the cluster. And now what credential you have to use it? So you have to use credentials, which is, I'm not creating it, so I delete this. Cancel, yeah. So select the demo. Okay. Now after that, so demo credentials will be used. After that, next configuration. Now here you have to select which version of Kubernetes you want. So right now we have 121, 20, whatever version you want. I'll just go for 120 because it's the very latest. And also if you want to define the roles, service role, you can do that. But right now I'm okay with the standard one. Now, if you want to isolate, you can click here the network isolation, but right now not required. If you want to set the encryption, you can call the KMS, which is a AWS services. Right now, none. And next for the configure network. Now, what networking here you want? So let's say your server should be accessible from the public or private. So right now it's a demo we are doing, not for the productions. It should be public. If you make it a private, you will not be able to access it without getting inside your VPC. Now, this is the. Do you want to create a VPC through for these clusters? So you can select, or if you want to use existing VPC, you can select this one. So everything I want to create from the scratch. And next, security group. So now security groups you have to select little carefully. So in security groups, what should be accessible, what should not be accessible, and all these things you have to define. So this all you can define. So here what is saying, configure control plane logs to send Amazon CloudWatch. You can charge, you are charged for this. So basically, if you want to monitor the logging for audit API, scheduler, controller, and authenticator, you can check this. Right now, I don't need. Now, if you want to select any manage launch template means here if you go for AWS, go for launch template here. So you can create a launch template here, and that is also you can do that. Now I am not creating it, so I'll let it create it automatically. Here you want to select this, what type of instance you want, what AMI ID, what is the volume size, and what's key. Here you have to select the key. So key I had created, if you remember in the last topic, that is, where is that? Key here. So I created a key which is Raju. So I can select the key here. So see Raju is coming. Now, this is the instance type. If you want GPU enabled instance or spot, you can decide that's not required. If you want to run some user data on each instance of the node of the clusters, you can do that. Here node group, you should name it. What is the node group? So demo something like that node group. What is the node group name? You go here in this node group and security groups here you have, and node group, auto scaling group. Where is this? Here. So node group here you have auto scaling group. You can create as many groups here you want. Okay. So right now I'll just name it this one. And in this ASG group, how many you want the desired machine, desired VM? So two, maximum two, minimum two. This I'm setting up two, but you can make it 200 also. How many number of nodes you want? You want to label them, you can label them. And if you want to add this more, you can do that also. So that I'm okay with it, but I don't want to add, so I'll delete this. Where is that? Where is the delete options? So somewhere here. Okay, so all these setups you have to do. Let me tell you, this all setup is from AWS. So if you understand AWS, it will be easy for you to configure these options. Finally, I'm ready for creating the cluster. But did you understand that? Any questions? Any demo?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So here again, name of the cluster demo, member roles. I'm allowing the Kubernetes to create it. Okay. If you want to select something, you can do that also. You can add a members right now, whichever you want to add it, but right now no. Labels and annotations you can add here. You can add access, which I'm using for accessing the AWS. You can select the version of Kubernetes cluster. I'm going for a little older. You can select the encryption, KMS option. You have none. Networking, you want the public. Of course, I want, because I should be able to access from outside. If you want to enable the logging, it's a paid services, again more costlier. So it's the CloudWatch services. You can do that. You want to create any node group, like a node template and stuff like that, you can do that, or leave it blank, automatically it will create it. AMI ID, size of volume, everything, specify what keys should be used. Oh, I clicked something else. Can I go back? Spoil all this thing, no problem. One more time, I'll have to go further. So quickly I'll do that. Okay, demo, and yeah, it's selected. That's good. And here it is, and that's all. So yeah, everything is okay, and click create. That's all. So now just wait for it. This is the older one, and here you see provisioning is done. Now I'll show you in the AWS this all provisioning, and you can click on it. You can see the progress. See here, provisioning logs will be having conditions which will be done and all stuff like that. And here it will take 15 to 20 minutes to create all this infrastructure. Okay, minimum 20 minutes it will take. Now, did you understand that, all of you?
Yeah, it looked like we
Now,
create Kubernetes on
yeah,
Google, Amazon.
EKS. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Now, just to avoid the waiting time, what I did, I created one in advance, which is EKS. Just so here I created. Now you have here. Now, if you go, and I'll show you this cluster now manually. So if you go to EC2, here it is. So now this is your cluster, and sorry, not this one, EKS, and here. So now if you see that, let it come. So now refresh. See, another one which I created still has not come. It will take some time, but this has come, EKS. Now this is the same cluster which I have here. Where is that? Here. So go to the clusters, and here this is the cluster. Now this is the clusters you have. Now you can do whatever you want, provisioning log, conditions, and all stuff like that. Now if you go to cluster management, and here this exploration has not come because of security issues, so still that API to be available. But here you can go and check the YAML, download, delete the cluster, edit the config. You can also click on this, and here where is it? Just here, cluster management, here, and there's no options. I'm looking for it. I'm not able to find it quickly. and just a second. So kubectl. So here you can run this kubectl shell also. For this one also, still has not come. So there's some issues here, but yeah. Refresh. Click on this. Refresh. See, now demo has come. It's creating. Leave it that aside. Let's focus on EKS, the one which I created older. Now, where to get the API endpoint? So click on the resources and sorry, configurations, and here this is your API address. So for the cluster which I created, this is the API server address. Now this API server address should be you can update in the configurations, and using this ARN you can access it. This is a certificate data. This is the address of API server, and you can see that. Now there is one error why it's not coming here. If you look at this error, EKS, and here if you see the config, let me show you. No, not this one. If I show you the config for this, let it come. Just yeah, I downloaded this. So if you see that here, no. Yeah, not this one. So if you see that here, this is the EKS. Now here you have a server. So now I downloaded from so I downloaded from view, click on it. I downloaded somewhere, but yeah, no. Where is that file? I just completely forgot where to click. Should be here. Let me go to home page and cluster management. Click on it. Download YAML. Let me check this one. No, this is not okay. So I had downloaded this file just 10 minutes before, and I'll show you this one. This is the file. Okay, so this where to click to get that file. I forgot that the UI where to click, but yeah, I downloaded this file. Now this file, you have an API address. This one. Okay, this is the API address. Now in AWS, this is the API address. So because of this region, this is publicly accessible and this is not accessible. Okay, this is not accessible. So because of this reason only, that this error is coming, and that error is here. This error is waiting for API to available. Are you understanding this?
Yeah, it looked like
Yeah. So API address is not available. Why? Because this rancher has taken this IP address. So now you could solve this one also. How? So you have to modify the security groups. So go to this networking on AWS, and here you have a security groups which is used here. Okay, and here you see that it's a public. So can I use this security group? And you have to change the inbound, and inbound rules. And here you see this, it's 0.0. So you can delete this. So you can delete this inbound or edit this here. Delete this. Add the rule. All traffic from 0.0.0 and save it. From everywhere it should be accessible. And one more thing, a second thing you have to do, this file while connecting to that cluster, you have to use this address, which is here, sorry, not here. Go to EKS, click on EKS and configurations. Here you have to use this address. So if you use this address compared to the one which I have it downloaded, then this should be 100% okay. So cluster has been deployed, but because of security of AWS, it's not able to access it. Okay, so now let's wait for second cluster, the one which I deployed little older. So refresh this, and by now I should be seeing that. So right now it's still provisioning. So if you want to see the logs, see that these are the provision log, this is the condition logs, and everywhere it's some of this stuff is pending. And related resources which got created, you can see that here. This is a role binding, all this stuff. Now physically also you can see on AWS. So you go to the clusters, refresh it, demo, and here it's not created actually. That's the reason. See, still it's creating. It will take some 10-15 minutes more also and get it done. So did you understand that? How can we deploy the cluster? So now same way you have to come to Rancher and
Oh,
let's say deploy new cluster.
AWS.
This time, let's say you want to do a AKS. So this time will be AKS and stuff like that.
I think in
Did you understand?
Rancher, we need to wait long time. Yeah,
What is that?
I saw that we need to wait long time when we create EKS in Rancher, right?
Yes. It 15 to 20 minutes it required, and after that will be done. I'll just
Yes.
disable the key because this key, if misused, it will create a problem for me. And deactivate. Oh, I made a mistake actually, you know. I should have not deactivated a key because I have to delete it, or there will still be a problem for me. So yes, you have to delete it also, anything you created. So now I'm in trouble actually. Okay, so
And
after this, what you have to do, let's say, see, this is the problem. I deleted the authentications, and that's the problem. So what I should have done, yeah. So what I should have done it, I should have deleted from like this, but it'll not work now because access I have removed it actually. So that is a problem. So what do we do now? So there is an alternative for doing that one. So that, see, it got deleted from here, but in real it not got deleted. So what to do now? So I should go to cloud formations. I should go to cloud formations. That's what is being called actually internally. So cloud formation. Here it is. And my region is Western 2, Oregon. So here it is. And go to cloud formations here. And here, the name of was, see here, this one. Remember, I created demo for you. Earlier, I had created EKS. Now delete got failed because of problem which I showed you. So I am going to manually do that. And so cloud formation, remember it. If somehow you forgot to delete delete that token, then you have to manually do that, all this stuff. And this is a really big work. So I'm doing manually because I accidentally deleted all this stuff. Okay, so now let me refresh this button of, and let me see the demo has provision or not. And okay, this got also key unauthorized issue, we got it because of same key issues. So this also I'll delete this from here also, and I'll go to AWS and manually I'll have to clean everything now because I deleted this. Now this is one place. Okay, now after that you should come to one more place which is your EKS, and from here also you should verify if deleted or not. And BPC also you should go and check that if got deleted. See here deleting, and here deleting, and EKS and delete. Okay, just it will wait some time. Some work is in progress. And again, I should go back to cloud formation. It will take some time. Deletion also take some time. And this is not getting deleted. So, yep, now it's taken. So manually I deleted, but you could have done it by using this itself because I deleted the key by mistake. So that was a problem. So from here it will get deleted, but in real it will not be deleted, which I am doing manually. Now one more place I want to go, and that's called VPC. So go and VPC. There you have to also delete because of my mistake. So now VPC here you have, and see that a demo EKS now. So and one by one I have to delete VPC and delete. And if you don't delete, it will keep charging your account and you will be having problem. Did you understand that?
Yes, I'm using cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still
I passed Azure expert, so Amazon I use a little bit.
yeah.
I'm learning Amazon also a professional.
Okay, so this is still there. EKS, I'm just checking that. And finally delete this. There's some error is coming. Okay, so this I'll take it offline. I'll delete this. But this is the way you can do that. Now, next topic, what we will have component study with Rancher. So we'll have a different components which we'll try, like a fleet and microservices, DevOps, CI/CD, and all stuff like that. So let me show you here. So next sessions will focus on this part, continuous delivery, and some of the options is global setting and stuff like that. Any questions so far you have?
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.
Hello everyone, if you would like to access the remaining videos of this playlist of 50 plus more tools which are coming under DevOps, DevSecOps, SRE, DataOps, GitOps, etc. Kindly become our channel members by clicking on the joining button. You would have access to hundreds of playlists and thousands of videos lifetime access with this membership. Enjoy.